This Valentine's Day, Saturday, February 14th at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, StoryLink Radio invites you to step out of the noise of the modern world and into the quiet sanctuary of the past. Join us for a special live event, Vignettes from the Vintage Heart. What happens to the love letters that never get sent? Where do the old songs go when the radio is turned off? It's an afternoon of noir, whimsy, and deep nostalgia. Broadcast live across the virtual worlds of Second Life and Kitely, and streaming directly to YouTube. Together, we will share an original collection of interconnected tales spanning a century of romance. We will visit a 1950s projectionist's booth on its final night, wait for a ghost train in a fog-drenched station, and even drift through the cold expanse of space with only a jazz record for company. Our guide for the evening is Arthur, the curator of forgotten frequencies, a traveler through time who collects memories like others collect stamps. Now, Arthur wasn't born into a life of mystery. In fact, for most of his first life, he was a man of the mundane. He was a clerk in a dead letter office in the late 1940s, a place where the ink went to fade and the unaddressed stayed unread. For years, his job was to open the letters and envelopes that had no destination, the confessions, the pleas, the unwritten Valentines. And that's where the change began. He started to realize that he wasn't just handling paper. He was handling the discarded bypasses of the human heart. He began to hear the voices in the letters. He started to see the faces in the abandoned lockets. So one rainy Tuesday in 1956, while closing up the office, he found a letter that seemed to vibrate in his hand. It wasn't addressed to a person, but to a frequency. When he opened it, the room didn't stay the same. The walls of the office melted into the vast, dusty, cluttered attic with the squeaky floorboards he now inhabits. An attic that exists in the quiet pockets of time, the 3 seconds of silence between a question and an answer, the space between the reels of a film and the static between the radio stations. Within these rafters, time is no longer a straight line, but more like a radio dial. By tuning his intent, Arthur can step into any moment where a story is waiting to be told. Now, Arthur is not a ghost, but he is no longer strictly mortal either. He is a temporal curator, the manifestation of the spirit of storytelling. He is like the Santa on the corner, a presence that can be in 1,000 places at once, taking 1,000 different forms, because each story of the heart needs a witness. The attic is full of mysterious and abandoned artifacts, a Felco radio that still glows softly even though unplugged, a tarnished mouthpiece of a long since past blues player, a bundle of letters from the Titanic, even an old broken down 1932 Nash. Here in his attic, he is the guardian of the silent stories, the lives we almost lived, and the loves we never quite finished. For as long as someone remembers a story, the people in it never truly die. They just wait in the wings. Arthur sees himself as a tuning fork for the universe. He shares these stories not to dwell on the past, but to remind the living that their own unwritten chapters are just as beautiful as the ones he keeps in his cedar chest. Arthur is a name that we give to the part of us that remembers. He's a man of many frequencies, sometimes a jazz player in a blue-lit club, sometimes a boy reaching for a book on a high shelf, sometimes a navigator drifting between the stars. But wherever you find him, he is always doing the same thing, keeping the light on for a memory that refused to fade. He is Arthur. He is the everyman who was there when the ink was wet and the signal was clear. He doesn't just collect stories. He inhabits the moments where a choice could have changed everything. He recognizes that every unwritten chapter is born at a crossroads, a single second where life is rewritten. A story isn't just a record of the past. It is a snippet of time redeemed, a bridge to the person we used to be and the person we still hope to become. In his attic, Arthur doesn't just archive these moments. He stitches together the what was with the what could have been, offering a second chance to be witnessed, turning the weight of regret into a universal chord of hope. And now, Arthur. Hello. Oh, you're already here. Good. My name is Arthur. Welcome to the attic, or as I like to call it, the lost and found of the human soul. Come in, come in. Watch your step. The floorboards near the trunk have a tendency to complain if you step on them too hard. People spend so much time looking forward these days that they forget to look at what they've left behind in the shadows. But me? I'm a scavenger. I collect the things that time tried to throw away. Old ticket stubs, broken radios, unread letters, and the faint flickering light of a story that's waiting for someone to hit play. Tonight I've pulled a few of my favorites out from the cedar chest. These aren't just stories, they're echoes. They are vignettes from a vintage heart. Reminders that love isn't something that gets old. It just gets deeper. It's the ink that doesn't dry and the song that stays in your head long after the record has stopped spinning. So pull up a chair. Don't mind the dust. It's just the glitter of the past. Let's go back to a night in 1956. The air is cool, the streetlights are amber, and the marquee of the Orpheum is holding on to its last few letters. I want to show you a place where the light never really goes out, even when the movie is over. The air in the booth always smells the same. It's a cocktail of scorched ozone, floor wax, and a ghost of a billion buttery kernels of popcorn. For 40 years, I've lived in the light of the lens, a shadow behind the beam, watching the world through a rectangular hole in the back wall of the Orpheum Theater. But tonight, the Orpheum is holding its breath. The velvet curtains are dusty, the gold leaf on the ceiling is peeling like a sunburn, and the marquee outside is missing half its letters. It doesn't matter. Tomorrow the wrecking ball arrives to turn this palace into a parking lot. Tonight, however, tonight is for the celluloid. I lean back against the projector, the machine humming low, a mechanical lullaby. I looked through the portal. The house was empty. Well, almost. In the very front row, center seat, sat the lady in the camel coat. She's been coming here every Friday since 1956. She always arrives exactly 5 minutes before the trailers and sits in that same seat. Join us Valentine's Day, this Saturday, February 14th at 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit StoryLink Radio for more details. www.storylinkradio.com.